Welcome back, everyone. Going into the third hour here. Roleplay Court of Swords week or whatever. What's going on? I'm pulling Bird back in, I think, or something, right? He fell in my arms.
I'd love to be able to tell you what's going on, but I've spent the entire episode obfuscating that very point. You'll have to figure that out on your own.
I got you.
But yes, what we cut to when we come back from break, we fade in on Enoch holding Berg up because Berg has sort of like tumbled back. And exclaimed in surprise or fear. Berg, you are sort of recovering your senses. And Ramus, I imagine you're probably like rushing downstairs because you heard Berg shout and like you heard noise from downstairs. Yeah,
came running.
So the three of you are in the room. Yep.
Yeah, I think I've like pulled. Berg, are you conscious? Were you unconscious? Did you lose control of your body? Like where you were in the street and I pulled you back into the house. How do you want to handle that? Do you fall down? Do you carry yourself?
Who, me?
Yeah. No,
probably just. I think since I'm trying to get my senses back, Berg would probably be able to stand, but maybe you like supported him, given that he was like out of it, and maybe it like kind of took it out of him for like seeing this vision or whatever.
Second question is: have I seen you have these type of things? Have episodes? Have you done this before in front of Enoch or no?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, then I'm like dragging you back in, and if I see Ramus coming downstairs, Ramus, I think he's just dehydrated or something. I don't know. He walked outside, started screaming, kind of lost control of himself.
He does that. I tried praying, nothing happened. Maybe I've lost it. I don't know. Nothing never seems to work anymore.
Well, how about you just put down all the God stuff and get him a drink of water?
All right.
Or beer.
No, you get water.
I look at Ramus and whisper, "Water, get him."
Yeah. I'm getting you a very light beer, Berg.
Yeah, we got one coming up, Berg. What the? Why were you outside? People are gonna see you. We're gonna have the guard all up in the house again. It's not gonna be good. You gotta stay inside, Berg.
I told you. The thunder and the light.
Berg, there's nothing going on. It's clear as day.
I know you didn't see it. You didn't see it, right?
No, I walk out. It's great outside. It's nice and sunny. I wave at someone who's walking by. They probably give me an odd look.
Someone's just like, hello, good day.
Yeah.
I suppose it is good outside.
Yeah, they vomit centipedes. They're like, oh, hello there.
Just ask him what he saw. Humor him. He likes that. Just ask him what he saw.
Okay. I grab the cup from Ramus Hannibal. What'd you see, Berg? Take a drink. Get some more of that alcohol inside you.
The town, the whole town was in fire.
What?
People dead everywhere in the streets. Buildings falling apart.
Ramus, is this normal?
It is when you hallucinate.
He does this a lot?
Oh, he sees things. Just keep going, Berg. What else did you see?
Maybe the food
Town's on fire.
The food wasn't good.
Thunder and flashes of light. The tower, for a moment.
Flashes of light. The tower? What do you mean? What?
The tower. I think.
It's pretty unmistakable right? I wouldn't say it was pretty unmistakable to what he saw, yeah.
Big, giant, perfect, dark spear
yes.
Lightning bolts coming. Oh, ooh, okay. What?
Something,
very carefully.
Something else, too. I don't know what it means. I don't know what any of it means.
What it means is I'm damn good is what it means.
What? You'll have to explain that.
It's obviously I triggered a vision, or I prayed for a vision, and he got it.
I'll never understand this stuff.
I heard skittering. Something something coming down the road. Long insect thing with faces, 3 together, wielding a spear, and dead or dying people speared into its backside, just there, howling in pain and agony. And it left as soon as it came. Didn't say anything. Just looked and then left.
Ramus, is that something that exists as well? Did we just get another awful creature at our door?
So a creature that was killing the whole town, but fearful of the tower and running away.
At this point, Berg's trying to recollect more. Did Berg actually recognize the faces?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's up to you, but you can either have recognized them, like, oh, they seem familiar to me, or it can just straight up be like, it was your servants. I remember.
Yeah, I think Berg's like thinking more about it. And he's just like,
The faces, they were familiar. That's they, your servants, Enoch.
What?
Your servants.
You saw my servants they're dead, Berg.
Not quite them. I know they're dead.
Also, they're not my servants. They're my friends. We had that conversation.
Servants.
They just work. Yeah. You didn't see them, Berg. They're dead. There's no way.
I think it was their faces.
Why would their
the
faces
beast.
be on the back of an insect?
I don't know.
That makes literally no fucking sense, Berg. That's really messed up. You'd bring them into this.
It's not his fault. He saw something from, the gods, and the gods are sometimes a little mean. It must have some significance, though, that the creatures came from the manor and then was killing everyone.
and you said it was like a man, right? Like torso, like a guy, like a man. Yeah. So I guess I just explained that to them, that it was like, it's hard for Berg to describe all that stuff without using larger words.
Yeah.
Was there anything weird about the spears they were killing people with?
No. Not that I could see.
Remember, everything in these visions can be symbolic of something.
They say my friends were insects.
That would be literal, not a symbol.
Ramus, I
They
don't
were
understand this.
part of this thing. Whatever it was, they were part of it now. That's one thing. Trapped, maybe.
Well, I don't have any ideas. This is y'all's domain. I'm new to all this tower stuff.
I see the visions. I don't often interpret. That is the word, yes.
Well, who does? Is that Ramus's job?
Berg just goes.
Yeah, I mean, Ramus, if you
he's the
if
priest.
you want to take some time to consult your religious texts and like try to interpret the vision, you certainly could.
Yeah, I think
Like when the symbols are clear and it shows something, like Berg knows that, but in terms of like the symbolism behind everything and what it means, he's not a priest.
I think I would take time to look through my books for mentions of the symbolism, like creatures that are mashed together or spears.
So
or everything.
This will take you some time. While you do that, Berg and Enoch, is there anything in particular you want to do, or do you just recover and wait?
I think.
Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say Berg's probably like drinking more water. If he finds more beer, he just drinks some more beer.
Safer than water.
Before Ramus goes, Ramus, how long is this gonna take for you to do whatever you got to do.
You can't rush perfection.
I didn't ask to rush
research.
perfection. I was just asking how long perfection takes.
Depends on how long it takes for me to find the thing.
Does religion have any clear answers? I'm just getting nothing here. You got to give me a time.
Probably a few hours, maybe a day. I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to go talk to the guards, okay?
All right, you do that.
I'm going to tell them something's going on at the inn, and I'm going to be real honest with them. I'm not going to mention the insect thing. That's going to make me look crazy. But I'll mention everything else. Just want to make sure you're okay with that.
I'm fine. We'll probably need help anyways, and who better than the people supposed to protect the town?
Right. I kind of like knock out the desk and look at the two of them. Okay, I'll see all guys in a bit. Berg, don't drink anymore. I can walk out of the house.
Okay.
And I'm going to the guards.
All right. So I have a question. I have a question for you, Anne. And this is a question for you as a player, but also you can interpret it through Jiva. Do you attempt to resist the darkness that is threatening to take you over, or do you attempt to control it? If you feel these like dark urges, you can either kind of give in and try to ride along with them, and maybe try to guide them a little, or you can try to fight and retain total control. Which would you prefer to do?
I think Ziva sees this kind of weird thing that's happened to her as potentially something that could be advantageous.
Okay.
Being able to sense life forms through walls as the thief is
pretty useful. Yep.
So I'm gonna go with control.
Okay. Let's have you make a wisdom save, and then I will tell you where we find you.
13.
13. Okay. All right. So I think that you awaken, having consumed some of that chi. So you lose a point. It just sort of evaporates. Your body consumes it. And you awaken as the sun begins to set, and you find you awaken in the cellar, and it's perfectly clear. There's no light down here, but you can see everything. And you can see on one of the barrels nearby some kind of like shadowy like creature. It's kind of hunched over, sitting on a barrel. Everything else is clear and distinct and sharp, but it's indistinct and kind of blurry.
Okay.
It seems to be watching you with a baleful glance.
Okay. I kind of like straighten up and like brush off my clothes because I was sleeping on the concrete.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I just say, hello there.
And it kind of just like regards you curiously, and says, they have no idea you're down here. Listen. And you can hear like faint conversation upstairs. Maybe you hear someone laughing. And when you look up, you can sense them. It's not so much like literally seeing them through, but you can feel their presence above you.
Hmm. I just look back at it. I like look at the ceiling and then look back and wait for him to say something else.
And it says, aren't you hungry? And you feel that kind of like it's not as bad as it was yesterday, but it's still there. There's that kind of gurgling, like grasping kind of hunger in the pit of your stomach.
And I cross my arms and I say, I might be hungry, but who are you?
I think that it takes a step towards you and resolves slightly, And we can see it's about the same height as you, has about the same proportions as you, but it has a long, shadowy tail. It has little tiger ears on top of its head. And you can see glinting in the darkness as it flexes its hands, you can see little claws. And it takes a step and sort of pads around you and like looks you up and down and kind of moves, moves around you. And it says, best to stop thinking about a division between the two of us. We're one thing. I've just been given a little bit more room than I had before.
So what do I call you?
It shakes its head. You don't have to call me anything. I'm always with you. I can always hear you, feel what you feel. I'm you, Jiva. And it kind of like slinks behind you, and you feel like a chill kind of pass through you. And it says, that feeling, knowing they're up there, hearing them talk, their heartbeats, that's just one of a handful of exciting things I have to teach you. But you have to feed me, Jiva. You know what I need. In exchange, I can make you powerful.
Okay. I think you can kind of see Ziva's eyes, like, kind of suspicious, but then as he says, or as the shadow thing says, like, powerful, she kind of, like, looks very interested and, like, excited at the prospect.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I want to learn, but we must be careful. There are many guards searching for you and I, and there will be many more if they find out what we do, what we've done. I've already killed many on my way here. And if this is something that I have to do regularly in order to attain these powers that you speak of, then we're going to have to be very careful.
There's a purring sensation, like less a sound and more like you just feel a pleased kind of like sensation travel up your spine. And the thing gives this sort of Cheshire grin in the dark. And it says, you learn so quickly. Good. Good. Let's start with the ones upstairs.
All of them?
And it nods.
Can I sense how many people are upstairs, or how many?
There's like a half dozen of them.
There are so many. Don't we only need one?
It pouts. You're going to be tired after your lessons. You'll need the extra energy. Trust me. Some for you, a little for me.
And Diva smiles, kind of echoing that Cheshire grin, and it's like, all right. And she like starts to go upstairs.
Okay, cool. So we see you, you in the shadow, padding silently up the stairs, and the camera kind of pans up with you, and then fades to darkness. You're gonna go along with your shadow self, and it's gonna teach you some cool tricks. The shadow opens your eyes to the world around you. You can sense living souls. You can you can see in the dark. Obviously, you can hear and smell much better. So, like mechanically, if you're doing anything to do with perception, you'll always have advantage on those checks. You have dark vision, as if that was something you always had, so you can see in the dark. And as you gain these chi points and sort of fill your well of souls, you'll be able to spend them to access other powers, to control the world around you, and to change your own self. But it will take time to learn those things. The shadow, I think it teaches you and it tells you as you're like hunched over one of the halflings, sort of draining its life. The shadow tells you that you're shackled. It says those rings in your hand. Each night you go to sleep, one fades, and the thing that made you gets closer to control. We can't have that. We'll have to kill him. You remember the manor house, the lord there, powerful creature, but we'll be ready for him. And like the halfling that you kind of like pinned to the floor is like shriveling up, is like coughs one last time and expires. And it says to you, like whispers in your ear, it's like, what about your friends? The ones that led you there in the first place? We could use them.
I straighten up and I kind of look at the rings on my hands, like examining them. And I look at the shadow and say, do you think they're strong enough?
They don't have to be. They just need to slow him down. Expose his weakness. We'll finish the job.
Do you think we're ready?
It looks around and we pan out and there's just like withered corpses like thrown about the room. You're spotless, right? Like, and we see like there's a halfling who at one point pretty well filled out a suit of chainmail, but now it's just like this chainmail on top of an ancient looking corpse. And the creature grins at you, and it says, "We will be."
Cool. And then I say to him, "I know where to find them."
Excellent. All right. And so do you head out? Is that what we see? Like you leave the
Yeah.
leave the inn to go and find them? Okay, great. Cool.
Yeah. Zeke assumes that they're back at the inn, so that's where she's gonna go.
That's where they are. So yeah, as long as you and your shadow get along, and you don't displease it, it's definitely willing to help you out and teach you what it can. But you only have 4 days. If you can't kill the lord of the house and consume him by then, you'll forever become his thrall. So the timer is running. So yeah. Meanwhile, while you're getting all geared up, Enoch, where do you go to find the guard? Do you just go looking for a guard?
Well, I think in the city my understanding is that there's guard houses or guard towers, and there's kind of probably a handful of those thrown about through the city. And when I saw the crest, maybe I can match up two symbols or something like that when the guards are visiting the inn, so I could try to get a somewhat of a idea of if they're in that guard building or if they're from another one, etc.
Yeah. So the way the guard structure works is that like each of the noble houses has their own kind of mercenary company that protects them, and they pay a tithe to the immortals, the entities that rule the city, out of respect, right? They're like, well, we're allowed to have our own little personal armies, and we'll pay you part of the money that we pay them to maintain these little standing armies. The Citadel of the Immortals itself has its own guard company that are the Hands of the Immortals, and they serve the Immortals, and then they serve the city, and then they employ a lesser guard, which are the guys that you saw. They have a name, but I can never remember what I decided it was. But the Aharisa, and they're like the ceremonial guards of the city. They act as police. They serve the city, not the citizens. So they get the ability to decide when to help and when not to help. They fight against threats to the city of Brass itself. Individual citizens are responsible to take care of their own security. But there's lots of mercenaries you can hire to do that. There is an office, like you said, like a guard tower essentially of the Aharisa nearby that you can go to. How helpful they'll be, we'll see.
Sure. Yeah, I make my way there.
Okay, sure.
And
All right. Yeah. So you find yourself there. It's a simple building, just a little kind of fort-looking structure of stone. There's a little yard outside, and you can see some of the guards kind of coming and going on their business. The harissa in their half cloaks.
Okay, I don't recognize any of the guards from the other day. Correct?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I'll walk in. If the door's open for people to walk in, I'll do so.
Yeah. Okay. So you come in, and there is a simple kind of open room with a staircase that leads up into another wing. There's a door that heads off into another one, and there's just sort of like guards kind of going about their business here.
Okay. I'll pull whichever one looks like they're in charge or whichever one looks like they're going to help me.
Sure. Yeah. There's a sentry, someone like a sentinel on guard, and you go up to him, and he sees you. He makes eye contact as you walk towards him. He's an older guy, like in his late 40s. He isn't wearing armor, but he is wearing the uniform of the Aharisa. He has his sword on his hip, but he's just standing guard, waiting for people like you.
Yeah, walk over, sir. I have some questions. I'm not sure how to ask them.
He raises a graying eyebrow and says, "Citizen."
You had some guards over by the mansion. They were looking for an innkeeper. They came by probably 2 mornings ago. I don't remember their names. I don't think I ever got any, but there was 3 or 4 of them. I think it was 2 men and a woman.
He's nodding as you speak, and he says, "Yes, Torek and his lieutenants. I think that they were investigating some disruption, noise in the night."
Yeah.
Have you some information about this?
Yeah, they told me to come see them directly if I had any information. So, are they around by any chance?
He nods. I think so. I will fetch him for you.
Fantastic.
And
thank you.
he goes off into another room, and sometime later, the captain that was there before, Torek, he comes out, and he looks like kind of annoyed, like you've interrupted something, and he comes out into the room with this other guy, and he looks at you, and he says, "Citizen?"
Captain, yes. Do you remember me from 2 mornings ago at the inn?
He nods. I do.
Is there anywhere we can? Well, go ahead.
The captain, Captain Torek, has a stern face. He's one of those people that always looks kind of put upon. Like he doesn't really want to be talking to you, even if you may have information that he needs. He just has that air to him, and he kind of looks at you like, okay, this is gonna be a waste of my time. You go ahead and say what you're gonna say.
Is there anywhere we can speak privately? Perhaps have some delicate information I'd like to share with you. It's very important to the case the other day.
He sighs. He looks around. The room is the only people in earshot are guards, and he says, "I don't know what it is you could say to me that you don't want the rest of my companions to hear."
Well, it's not that I'm worried what they hear. I feel like I'll be putting myself in danger if I say some of those things to people that aren't aware of the situation fully, if that makes sense.
I have to admit to you, sir, I am not fully aware of the situation.
Right, but you met me the other day. You know I'm not out to get anyone or do anything nefarious. I hope I've earned that.
Do I know that?
Well, I would hope so, yes. We were quite compliant the other day in the inn. These others, they don't know. I don't know.
Compliance is not a sign of innocence, citizen. But if you have something to say and you're not willing to say it here, fine. And he looks around and he gestures to a door and he says, "This way."
Okay.
And so we find you and him in not in a room, but in a sort of like alcove in a hallway in a back part of the little citadel that they're in. And there's no one here, just sort of stone floors, plain walls. Obviously, like an old building, there's kind of like a little groove kind of worn into the floor. This place has been around forever. And and it's quiet and a little shadowy back here. And he says, "Now, What is it that you so desperately needed privacy to tell me?
I kind of like look over my ears. And, my father always said you got to earn someone's trust before you can share with them secrets. And so I kind of pull out my necklace and show him my family sigil. Hopefully, he sees the sigil and recognizes it to be a house. The hope is, I don't know if it's actually gonna work.
Yeah, I mean your house is like
It's gone.
crumbled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He looks at it and he looks at you and he says, "Who did you buy that from?"
No one. I been trying to keep it, make sure that no one's watching me. I got out. I was the only one. I had some servants. They died. I kind of want to tell you the full story.
And he scowls and he says, "So what? You are the last scion of a dead house thought missing, and you've come to reclaim your family's name and your treasures from the city supply. Is that it?"
Yeah, it's a pretty boring story, isn't it?
He shakes his head. Anyone could have given that to you. You could have stolen it.
Well, you can talk to someone that knew the family and see if you want to verify that. But I found the innkeeper. He
Have you?
he didn't have his head when I found him. I kind of look at him
Then
real
how did-
serious.
And how did you know it was him?
Well, because it was on the floor, right next to him.
He nods.
It was in the old mansion he told us not to go to.
He scowls. He says, "You found the innkeeper's body in the house of the Falcon."
Yeah, now you see why I didn't want to say that out there.
And he kind of like looks you up and down and he says, "And what are you trying to accomplish telling me this?"
Well, we didn't stop there. We went deeper in the house, and I think the town, I think the guardsmen, I think the royals need to deal with it. 'Cause otherwise, I don't think the town's going to last. What we saw down there, and well, I say we, the other two were with me. We left one behind. I don't know what she's doing. It's the little one you ran into. I kind of like make a how tall she was.
Right. She's about big
Yeah, I start right here.
down
maybe
there.
A little smaller.
Yeah, he says, I think he's processing. So let's see if he believes you. Roll a persuade and check.
Okay. Do I get anything for having the nobility on my side, or the feint of nobility?
Oh man. Yeah, I mean maybe like the noble houses, they're all related, and so you share like physical features. And like he's been looking at your face, being like, I don't know, like are you I can't tell. So yeah, I think I think you can do this with advantage. I think he's likely to buy it once he puts everything together.
All right. Oh my fucking god!
Oh,
Are you kidding me? All right,
Right,
double
nice it
eights.
2 8s. Okay, so what you want here, your intent is for what? Him to just be like, yes, we're gonna go and check it out.
I think at the base level would be to investigate it further, to not let the investigation end. It probably where they're
Okay.
at, because they probably haven't
Yeah.
found anything else information-wise.
So he looks at you, and he says, if you are who you say you are, your house has seen dark days.
Well, my
and
house
if
doesn't
there's-
exist anymore, so we could just be honest with one another.
He shakes his head and says, no, so long as the blood flows in your veins, your house is still around. It wouldn't do good for the city for us to risk you. Stay away from the House of the Falcon. I will take my men and investigate. Leave it to the professionals.
Well,
And he kind of like looks you up and down like, yeah, you're like carrying weapons and your armor and stuff, but like you're a dumb noble. So just like take your little pea shooters and go back to the inn and relax. We'll go look this up.
sir, I will warn you. You're going to need more than just a few guards if you go down there.
He scoffs and he says the Aharisa have been dealing with problems of this nature since the city of Brass was just a camp in the desert.
Yeah, well, have you ever killed a man and had him come back to life 2 seconds later, killed him again, and kept killing him for the next 10 minutes to see him just come back to life over and over and over and over? It's not natural. You can't deal with that.
he looks at you and he says, "Is this something that you saw in the house?"
No, that was on the grounds. You see that before you even could step inside.
Well, if you and your friends were able to face it alive, then I'm sure we will be fine.
I kind of just like
And
step away.
he puts a patronizing hand on your shoulder, like, "We'll handle this, son."
Okay.
And he says, "Thank you for bringing this information to me."
All right. Well,
And yeah, he turns. He does like a brisk military turn, and he heads out.
but Captain, can you make sure you keep my name safe? You understand why that could be a problem if that gets out?
And he doesn't even turn to look at you. He just waves, and he's just like, "Yes, yes, of course."
All right. I appreciate that. Good luck. I kind of roll
Okay,
my eyes.
So he disappears
Okay.
from view, and yeah.
I'm gonna go to where adventurers would hang out, whether it's a bar, if there's like a guild or something
Is
like
this
that.
a thing that Enoch would know?
No, not at all. I'm new to the adventuring scene.
Sure, because yes, like this is the thing. Like adventurers as a thing, they do exist in the. It's not a purely game level thing in the fiction, in the world that we're exploring.
Right.
There are people who go out into forgotten, forbidden, dangerous places and kill monsters and get treasure. It's a thing that they do. They're crazy people, and no one trusts or respects them, but they get shit done occasionally. So you're basically looking for a place where you might find one of those.
Yep.
Okay. How do you go about doing that?
I walk back out to the guy that fetched the guard for me in the first place. Sir, one more
Yeah,
question,
the
if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm looking
So he
for,
looks over at you.
if I'm looking for, the adventuring types, and I kind of like present myself to kind of like this. Where would those people hang out in town?
He looks you up and down. I'm gonna squint at you, like, is this a joke? Are you gonna prank me on this, or what's going on? And then he says, he says, the kind of folk you're looking for are too dangerous for you to associate with. Steer clear of them.
Oh, I'm not going there. I'm sending some friends over there. They need to learn a lesson or two.
Kind of scowls.
We're all
He
for
says,
bad people getting their due. I'm just making sure.
Yeah,
they
make
get their due.
a persuasion check. Let's see, because he definitely knows a place that you could go.
Fucking 9.
Okay, he's like, yes, no, I have just the place, and he takes out a so you can like write it down. He describes to you. He says he tells you the station, and then gives you directions to a place that you can go.
Okay. I appreciate it, sir. Keep up the good guarding. I kind of like,
Just shakes.
yeah. Yeah, and I walk out,
Okay.
head towards that
All
place.
right. Sure. All right. So you're just gonna go there alone.
I mean, how long is this taking?
That sounded a lot more ominous than I intended. I'm just asking if you're going to get your friends.
Well,
before
no.
you
What
go.
I took that as, how long did this take? How long did that whole thing take? An hour, 30 minutes?
A couple of hours, like an hour to get out there, and like whatever. 20
Okay,
minutes.
Ramus said he needed an hour or 5, so I'll go back and check
He's
on
going to be
Ramus.
at this a while.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Okay.
go out and check to see where he sent me.
Okay.
I'm checking
All right,
it
so
out.
you
I'm
head
not
back to
going all the way in.
Oh, you're going to go check out where he sent you?
Yeah, at least
Okay.
the area. I might not walk
right.
in if it looks bad.
Sure. So you head to the neighborhood, and it takes you some time to get out there. Right? You go to the trains, and you take a train to the station nearest to where he sends you, and then you head from there, and you're heading through a neighborhood that seems pretty pretty like grimy, right? There's tough-looking individuals kind of standing about in the street. You are called to from alleyways, people offering all sorts of mysterious herbs and poultices. And you're definitely in like a bad part of town. It's a big city, so there's many bad parts of town, but this one seems like pretty dark, and you're kind of like wending your way into its seamy underbelly.
Right.
Yeah. So you're approaching the place. You wanna press on?
Well, if I approach the place, what do I see? Like, am I? You described the area, Sid, but what does the building look like? Does it have a name? What was I
Yeah,
given?
yeah, yeah.
Just a location, or?
So you come to you come to an alley, and he says, you turn left on this alley, and the entrance is the third door under the blue lantern. If you knock 3 times, and tell them that Abdul sent you, they'll let you in, and you'll find the kind of person that you're looking for there.
Okay. I guess I may be recollecting that, and then I open my eyes. What does this area look like? Just like a complete shithole?
You're looking down, yeah, like a grimy alley. Someone is either passed out or dead, like just like laying on near the mouth of the alley, kind of like laying in his own filth. The alley itself is dark and shadowy, as the buildings next to it seem to be kind of leaning on each other almost to sort of darken the space.
Okay.
But you can see a dim, like a glow from a blue paper lantern.
Yeah, I kind of eye that. I look around, and I open my mouth and say, Idris. And then I look to the left, and then I just turn around and leave.
Okay. Like, nah. And just head out. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it grows dark, right? It gets dark on your train ride back to the inn across the street from the House of Falcons. And during the day, while all this is happening, Berg, what are you doing while Ramus is consulting his books? Because everybody else is kind of like doing stuff. What have you been up to?
The last we saw Berg was just like the inn, right? So
yeah,
this is what Berg's been filling the time with.
You weren't feeling so good. You had a tense vision and got dizzy. What have you been up to?
I think Berg probably kept drinking for a while, and then are they both out? Like
no, Berg.
I know Enoch's been
Ramus
out doing
is,
stuff,
Ramus
but I
is
haven't
upstairs.
heard. He's just upstairs, like studying stuff. I was gonna say he hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah.
Maybe Berg, like for a while, was just drinking and became kind of bored, and then decided to go upstairs and see what Ramus was doing, or if he made any progress deciphering anything, because I mean he doesn't know what the fuck he saw, so he's kind of curious. He's dumb, but he's not, without any sort of curiosity.
Okay.
So walk up there and just be like,
yeah. So when Berg opens the door and comes into your room, Ramus, what are you up to?
What? I'm I have like 4 different books on the table, and I'm writing notes from each one of them. I
hey,
look
just
at
hear
him.
like the
What?
Have you found anything?
Have I come out of the room yet?
I was just wondering.
Are you an expert on religious texts?
No, but
Do you have an advanced knowledge of arcane creatures and visions?
I'm a good listener.
Did I say, are you a good listener?
No.
Exactly. Well, you can stay if you can be quiet. Can you be quiet?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you can manage to not make a sound, you can stay right over there.
Berg shuffles in with like his beer, like kind of like surveys the room, just like looks to where he pointed, and then goes and just sits down. It's like
when you make a sound, I grunt at you.
Okay. All right. So Berg, you just sit quietly while Ramus looks through his books and
yeah, just kind of
examines.
watching.
Okay.
Berg doesn't know what to do with himself, like, and wandering around the streets doesn't really sound like a good idea.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay. So it grows dark. You have to light some candles to be able to continue seeing. Enoch isn't home yet, hasn't returned. but we see the outside of the inn, and Jiva, you are approaching. You can see the outside of the inn. You walk up.
Okay. Is there anyone around who might be like a street urchin or like a homeless person?
No, this area, I think if there were such things, they've sort of fled. This area is kind of getting a reputation for being cursed. So, no, even though there's a semi-abandoned building, people have kind of abandoned the neighborhood. It's pretty quiet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's nighttime, right? They're all.
Yes, it's dark now. Yep.
Can I tell if they're sleeping or if they're all awake?
Yeah. I think you can make a perception check, and I'll tell you if you take a minute to examine the.
Okay.
19.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have advantage. Okay. Yeah. You can sense. So you close your eyes for a second, and you kind of take in you have to sort of focus because there's so much sensory input at once. But yeah, you can feel a presence. They're at a distance. But there's something funny about it. You'll have to get closer to examine them more. But you can tell without having to see them or anything. You can feel the familiar presence of Berg and Ramus, and you know that Enoch isn't around.
Okay. But I can't tell if they're conscious or sleep.
No,
Okay.
Not from this distance. But if you go inside, you probably will. It depends on where they are.
Okay. Okay. What I want to do is use my painter's tools to pull out a piece of parchment and kind of crumple it up, make it look like it's torn from a book, kind of.
Okay.
I want to write a letter on it, and then I want to leave it attached to the door, kind of.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, you've got a knife or something. You can stick it in the door. That's no problem.
Not with a knife, because I feel like that.
You want to? Okay. You don't want to be this feels a little too ominous for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is if
That's
I were
fine.
delivering a letter, or if someone was delivering a letter. Yeah. And so I want to write on the letter my friends, I'm alive, but locked in a cell in the manor's basement. The monster left, and I overheard that he won't return for 2 days. And then at the bottom, I just put "Please help me" and then a Z. And
okay. So as you're writing this, as you're kind of writing on the paper, the shadow form is hovering over your shoulder, kind of watching you, and it says, "What are you up to?"
I smile and I say, "My friends are very honorable, and one of them wished very desperately to save me. If they know that I'm alive, and they think that they have a chance of saving me, I believe that they will go to the House of the Falcon on their own. We can follow."
Yeah. And it nods and just says, "Clever. Let's see if it works."
So
you fold up the letter, and I guess you'd probably just slide it under the door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then where do you go?
I'm gonna hide kind of in the shadows, and
lurk nearby.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. So you're there when Enoch returns. Enoch, you come back to the inn, and you open the door, and you see on the ground a folded piece of paper.
We really gotta clean up this place. I reach down, pick up a piece of paper.
Yeah, you can see that it's like a letter. It's been folded on purpose. It's not just random trash.
Okay. Oh, unmark it. Ramusberg, I'm back. Open it up. Start reading.
Okay. Yeah, and you read what Jiva wrote.
Okay. You basically just wrote exactly what you just said to your. Okay. Ramus? Berg?
What?
We got a thing. I need to talk to you. Start walking upstairs. I shut the door behind me and stuff and walk upstairs. Hey, hey, did you guys hear the door? Did anyone knock?
No, all I've been hearing is a big loud orc snoring in the corner.
Well, you need to read this. I hand him the letter.
I'm trapped in a...
I think someone's playing a trick on us. But that means someone saw us go in there.
So this person is expecting us to believe that they're trapped in a cell. And somehow they wrote a letter. And it got somehow from that cell over to our door.
If you think about it, though... Well, go ahead.
I did sign, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, I mean, I think that you'd have reason to believe that Jiva actually wrote it. Or someone who's, like, really good at forging her signature.
Well, that's what I say. Ramus, if you think about it, though, why would anyone make all that up? That's kind of an elaborate lie.
Well, obviously, the lord of the house is trying to lure us back in there, and he probably has her prisoner, made her wrote this. That's the only thing that makes sense. Of course he wants us back. We saw him.
I mean, if that is true, then she's alive, at the very least.
Yeah,
Even if it is a trap.
That's why, Ramus, if that is true, we got to go back. I'd probably like throw the towel that was on the bar or something from. It's just kind of like a little bit wet, so it's heavy enough to like hit with some force.
Yeah.
It smashes at Berg's. Berg, wake up! Wait, we're talking here.
What?
You slept all fucking afternoon. You got to stop drinking. Someone wrote us a letter claiming to be Ziva. Dropped it off
Wow.
here. If you were up, you would have noticed this.
Is it from her?
Maybe.
It looks like it's from her. That means she's probably alive. Poor girl.
Well, we got to go back.
Yes. I'm sure you want to go back and save her, Ramus.
Berg like shakes his head. like I know you better than that.
Well, it's a 2-1 vote. Me and Berg say we're going back. So, Ramus, you're coming.
I didn't say I wasn't coming. I just and needed to prepare is all.
We got an issue, though. I told
What's
the guards what happened. They said they're going to take care of it. They might have already died by taking care of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
It didn't go like I wanted. I meant to work in unison, and I kind of got laughed out of there.
Maybe they won.
Yeah, Berg, maybe they won, or they died. I'm going to go with that. I think that's probably what happened. Or they haven't gone yet, and we need to be there when they do.
They probably died.
Well, if they're going to launch a... Wait a minute. Maybe they just didn't go. There's always option 3. They said that
Either way,
they said that
They
place is
haven't-
we're
cursed.
going.
They haven't dealt with this place in a very long time, ever. Why would they start now? They probably just told you that and so you'd go away.
Enoch, where have you been?
Well, I went to talk to the guards, and then I went to an alley and was going to talk to some other people, and got scared and came home. I kind of like crossed my heart.
I think Berg like at that goes like
Other people.
I'm used to an entourage, okay? I don't like going places by myself. I had my friends, and then you guys, and didn't like it. We can go back there if you want, but the guards are probably on their way.
Ramus, do you want to go back? Talk to these other people?
What were you talking with them for?
Well, I didn't talk with anyone. I was going over there to see if maybe we could lure people into the building and see if they want the, riches
Oh,
of whatnot.
You mean lure other people in to kill the thing for us?
That was kind of the plan, but I didn't get to the luring part. I got to the getting away part, and I didn't talk to anyone.
Well, I'm kind of ashamed of you. I would never lure someone to their death so I could escape.
You want to roll deception on that, or? I assume no one believes you. I think you have disadvantage.
Yeah, no, I think we all just look.
Yeah, I think I look and I laugh, but then covered by coughing. Yeah, I laugh and covered by coughing. Yeah, Ramus, okay. Right. I'm just looking for other people. The three of us, we're not going to be able to do it on our own. I was thinking maybe if we got the guards, we got some other people there, we could, get in there and save Ziva.
I think after that, Berg, like, happy to have something to do and some sort of goal in mind. He's just like,
Good. Then we're going.
gets up.
But hold on, Berg. We don't know when the guards are going. I haven't talked to anyone at all. So if we're going, it's just us three. So the plan didn't work.
No, we're going to talk. Few other friends.
Oh, they're not my friends. I don't know these people at all. In fact, they're kind of in a shady part of town. It might just be a whorehouse. I'm not sure what was going on. That's why I left.
We'll go.
And like before he's done, like he's making excuses, Berg's like puts his hand on his shoulder and just like,
It's okay. You have us. No need to be afraid.
Okay.
like, you're just being scared. It's fine. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay, Ramus, we need to hear about anything that you figured out.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
yeah. So Ramus is about to recount you the tale of what he learned. Let's have you roll when we get back from our break.
Cool.
okay.
All right. Take our final break. Still 1 hour left to go here on this week's Court of Swords. We'll be right back.